For years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were Hollywood's golden couple love. Legacy and loyalty wrapped in perfection. But behind the flashbulbs, something broke. After weeks of whispers, the truth surfaced: heartbreak, distance, and the quiet unraveling of a love the world thought would never fade. Now, Nicole's not hiding the pain, she's turning it into power. Sources say she's ready for a revenge romance with someone younger, bolder, and dangerously charming. She built an empire on grace, on elegance, on being untouchable. But behind closed doors, Nicole Kidman's world was crumbling. And now, sources say the Hollywood icon isn't just picking up the pieces. She's ready to set the entire game on fire. We're talking younger, hotter. A revenge romance that no one saw coming. Because when a woman like Nicole decides she's done playing by the rules, the whole world stops to watch. Let me take you back. Back to when Nicole Mary Kidman was just a girl with red curls and impossible dreams in Sydney, Australia. Born in Honolulu but raised under the Southern Cross, she wasn't like other kids. While they played, she studied ballet. While they dreamed small, she imagined stages, spotlights, standing ovations that would echo through decades. Her parents were intellectuals, her mother a nursing instructor, her father a biochemist and clinical psychologist. They raised Nicole to think, to question, to never ever settle for less than extraordinary and extraordinary. That's exactly what she became. By 15, she was already acting. Small roles at first, Australian television, films that barely made a ripple. But there was something about her, something magnetic. The camera didn't just capture Nicole Kidman, it fell in love with her. Then came 1989, Days of Thunder. The film that would change everything. Picture this. A young Nicole, 22 years old, porcelain skin and fire red hair, walking onto a set where Tom Cruise, Hollywood's golden boy, was the undisputed king. He was at the peak of everything. Top Gun had made him a god. Every woman wanted him. Every man wanted to be him. And Nicole, she caught his eye immediately. The chemistry wasn't just electric, it was volcanic. On screen, off screen, it didn't matter. By the time filming wrapped, they were inseparable. Tom was still married to Mimi Rogers, but that marriage was already on life support. And when Tom Cruise wants something, he gets it. They married on Christmas Eve, 1990. It was the wedding of the decade. Two of the most beautiful people on the planet, promising forever. Nicole wasn't just Mrs. Tom Cruise. She was half of Hollywood's most powerful couple. But here's what they don't tell you about marrying a megastar. You disappear, not physically. But piece by piece, your identity gets swallowed. Every premiere, every interview, every magazine cover became about Tom. Nicole was the accessory, the beautiful, talented accessory. But still, she tried to have it all. The marriage, the career, the family. They adopted 2 children, Isabella and Connor. And Nicole poured herself into motherhood with the same intensity she brought to every role. She loved those kids with every fiber of her being. But Tom's world was complicated. Scientology loomed large, casting shadows into every corner of their life. Nicole tried to navigate it, tried to be supportive, but something was always off. Always just slightly wrong. And then, in 2001, it happened. Tom filed for divorce. Sudden, shocking, brutal. Nicole was blindsided. One day she was Mrs. Cruise. The next, she was discarded, cast aside like yesterday's script. The official reason: irreconcilable differences. But sources close to the couple whispered about control, about religion, about a wife who was becoming too successful, too independent, too much her own person. The pain was unimaginable. Not just losing her husband, losing her children. Because here's the heartbreak nobody talks about. Isabella and Connor chose Scientology. They chose their father's world. And Nicole, she was left standing in the ruins of everything she'd built. Most women would have crumbled, disappeared, faded into what might have been. But Nicole Kidman, she's not most women. She threw herself into work with a vengeance. Moulin Rouge came out the same year as her divorce. She was luminous, broken and beautiful, and so raw it hurt to watch. Then came the hours. She won the Oscar. Standing on that stage, golden statue in hand, she proved something. She didn't need Tom Cruise. She never did, but love. She wasn't done with love. Enter Keith Urban, 2005. A country music star with a bad boy edge and a voice that could melt hearts. He was Australian like her. He understood where she came from. The accent, the culture, the dry humor that Americans never quite got. They met at an event honoring Australians in Los Angeles. Keith later admitted he was intimidated. This was Nicole Kidman, after all. Oscar winner. Hollywood royalty. What could he possibly offer her? But Nicole saw something else. She saw a man who was real, who didn't play games, who looked at her like she was Nicole. Not Nicole Kidman, the brand. They married in 2006. It was smaller this time. More intimate. More real. They built a life in Nashville, far from the Hollywood machine. They had 2 daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. Nicole finally had the family she'd always dreamed of. The stability. The peace. For years, they were the example. The couple that made it work. He'd write songs about her. She'd show up at his concerts. They'd walk red carpets hand in hand, and you could see it. The genuine affection. The partnership. But here's what happens when you're in the spotlight for 2 decades. The cracks start to show. Not all at once. Just tiny fractures. Little moments that don't quite add up. Keith's touring schedule was relentless. Months on the road. Different cities every night. And Nicole, she was busier than ever. Prestige television. Big Little Lies. The Undoing. Being Lucille Ball in Being the Ricardos. Her career had entered a renaissance. She wasn't just working. She was dominating. They'd go weeks without seeing each other. Then months. Sure, they'd post pictures. Happy birthday messages. Anniversary tributes. But those who knew them started to notice something. The spark was dimming. Industry insiders began to whisper. At parties, at premieres, Nicole would arrive alone. Keith would be touring, they'd say. But there were other times. Times when they were in the same city, but somehow never together. Then came the big one. The moment everyone had been dreading. News broke just weeks ago. Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were separating. After 17 years of marriage. After 2 children. After being the couple everyone believed in. The official statement was diplomatic. Mutual respect. Growing apart. Focusing on co-parenting. All the usual phrases that mean everything and nothing at the same time. But sources close to Nicole tell a different story. They say she'd been unhappy for years. That she'd tried everything, counseling, compromises, rearranging her entire schedule to make it work. But Keith was checked out, emotionally distant. More married to his guitar than to her. One source revealed that Nicole finally had enough after a particularly brutal fight. The details are murky, but apparently it involved Keith missing yet another important family event. Something with their daughters. And Nicole just snapped. She'd spent decades putting everyone else first. Tom's career. Her children. Keith's touring. Her aging parents. When was it her turn? When did Nicole Kidman get to be young and reckless and free? So she made a decision. One that shocked everyone who knows her. No more playing it safe. No more being the dutiful wife. The perfect mother. The graceful icon who never makes waves. Nicole wants to feel alive again. And sources say she's looking for someone completely different this time. Younger, much younger. We're talking late 20s, early 30s. Someone with energy. With passion. Someone who isn't jaded by decades in the industry. Hotter. Someone who turns heads. Who makes her feel desired in a way she hasn't in years. Someone who sees her not as Nicole Kidman, the legend, but as Nicole, the woman. 57 years old and still stunning. Still vibrant. Still capable of making hearts race. The rumors are already flying. There's talk of her being spotted at exclusive clubs in Los Angeles. Places where the young Hollywood elite hang out. She's been seen having dinner with her younger co-stars. Laughing, touching arms. That unmistakable sparkle in her eye. One particularly juicy rumor involves an up-and-coming actor 20 years her junior. They worked together on a recent project. The chemistry was undeniable. He's muscular, tattooed, everything Keith Urban wasn't. And apparently, they've been texting. A lot. Another source claims Nicole's been hitting the gym harder than ever. New wardrobe. New hairstyle. She's not just moving on. She's transforming. This is her Phoenix moment. Think about it. Nicole Kidman, completely unleashed. No husband to consider. No image to maintain. Just pure, unapologetic living. And honestly, good for her. She's given Hollywood everything. 3 decades of incredible performances. Grace under pressure that most people can't even imagine. She survived Tom Cruise. She survived Scientology trying to erase her. She survived being separated from her children. If anyone has earned the right to a revenge romance, it's Nicole Kidman. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about finding someone new. This is about reclaiming her narrative. For so long, Nicole's story has been told through the men in her life. Tom Cruise's ex-wife. Keith Urban's wife. What about Nicole the person? The actress? The woman? This revenge, romance, if it happens, is her way of saying she's still here. Still relevant. Still desirable. Still capable of making people gasp, and the industry is watching. Because if Nicole pulls this off, if she shows up to the next award season with some gorgeous younger man on her arm, looking happier than she has in years, it changes the game for every woman in Hollywood over 50. It says you don't have to disappear. You don't have to become invisible. You don't have to accept less because you've aged. Madonna did it. Cher did it. Now Nicole might join that legendary club. Women who refuse to play by society's rules. Who date who they want. Who live how they want. Who don't apologize. The backlash will be intense. It always is when women dare to step outside the boundaries. They'll call her desperate, sad, trying too hard. All the words they never use when men do the exact same thing. But Nicole's been through worse. She's been called everything imaginable. Too tall, too pale, too ambitious, not ambitious enough. Bad mother for losing her kids. Too focused on career. Not focused enough. She's heard it all. And she's still standing. Still working. Still one of the most respected actresses of her generation. So let them talk. Let the tabloids spin their stories. Let the gossip columns clutch their pearls. Nicole Kidman is done caring what anyone thinks. Sources say she's never felt more free. That the divorce, painful as it was, lifted a weight she didn't even know she was carrying. For the first time in decades, she's making decisions based purely on what she wants. Not what's expected. Not what's appropriate. Just what makes her happy. And if that means dating someone young enough to be her son, so be it. Age is just a number. And Nicole's proving that 57 can be just as exciting as 20-7. The real question is what happens next. Does she actually go through with it? Does she show up to the Oscars with some gorgeous 20-something on her arm, sending shockwaves through the entertainment industry? Or does she decide that being single is her power move? That she doesn't need anyone, young or old, to validate her worth? Either way, Nicole's winning, because she's finally putting herself first. And for a woman who's spent her entire adult life being what everyone else needed, that's the ultimate revenge. Think about all the years she spent trying to be perfect. The perfect wife to Tom, the perfect mother to Bella and Connor, the perfect partner to Keith, the perfect actress, the perfect icon. Perfection is exhausting. It's a cage, and Nicole's breaking free. There's something poetic about it, too. Nicole made her name playing complicated women. Women who challenged expectations. Satine in Moulin Rouge, choosing love over survival. Virginia Woolf in The Hours, drowning in the weight of her own brilliance. Celeste Wright in Big Little Lies, hiding bruises beneath designer clothes. Now she gets to play the most important role of her life, herself, unfiltered, unapologetic, alive. The daughters, Sunday and Faith, are reportedly supportive. They're teenagers now, old enough to understand that their mother deserves happiness. That marriage doesn't always work out, and that's okay. That women can start over at any age. What a lesson for them to learn. That your value doesn't decrease with age. That desire doesn't have an expiration date. That you can be a mother, a professional, an icon, and still be a woman with needs and wants and dreams. Keith, for his part, has remained silent. No public statements beyond the initial separation announcement. But you have to wonder what he's thinking. Is there regret? Does he realize what he's lost? Nicole Kidman doesn't come around twice, or maybe he's relieved. Maybe they both are. Sometimes love runs its course. Sometimes the person who is perfect for you at 30 isn't right for you at 50. That doesn't make either person wrong. It just makes them human. But the narrative Nicole's creating is powerful. Woman wronged. Woman rising. Woman reclaiming her sexuality and her agency in a world that wants to put her in a box labeled elegant older actress. She's smashing that box to pieces. And we're all watching, captivated, because deep down, we're all rooting for her. We want to see the fairy tale, not the one where she marries the prince, the one where she realizes she never needed saving, that she was the hero all along. Every woman watching this understands. We've all felt invisible at some point. We've all wondered if our best years are behind us. We've all dealt with men who took us for granted, who stopped seeing us, who moved on without a second thought. Nicole's story is our story. And if she can rewrite her ending, maybe we can too. So here we are, on the edge of something spectacular. Nicole Kidman, about to embark on the most talked about romance of the year, or maybe the most empowering single era of her life. Either way, she's winning, and the message is clear. It's never too late to start over, to feel young, to be reckless. To choose yourself, Nicole Kidman is choosing herself. Finally, unapologetically, beautifully, and the world has never seen her. Shine brighter. The cameras are ready. The tabloids are waiting. The gossip mills are churning. But Nicole, she's just living. And isn't that the ultimate revenge? Not needing revenge at all. Just being so genuinely happy that everyone else's opinions fade into irrelevance. She's shown us how to survive the impossible. How to lose everything and build it back better. How to age with grace but refuse to disappear. How to be vulnerable and powerful at the same time. Now she's showing us one more thing. How to live, truly live. Without apology. Without fear. Without limits. So keep your eyes on Nicole Kidman. Because whatever happens next, it's going to be legendary. And we'll be here to witness every moment of her spectacular, scandalous, beautiful new chapter. What do you think? Is Nicole's rumored revenge romance the power move of the century? Or should she take a different path? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more stories about Hollywood's biggest secrets and the celebrities who refuse to play by the rules, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.